where you are in the season, is it to not get this win?
It's disappointing because I think the tie was on us. We said at halftime that this was a team that if we allow them to grow and we give them space, eventually they were going to find a way to score a goal. And I think that's what we should have done better. Closing the space better, being a little bit more organized, being a little bit more savvy. I think the fact that we were too early successful allowed the players to relax a little bit, and that didn't allow us to be as compact as we were last week.
Gio, the Cosmos have earned a reputation under your watch of playing a full 90 minutes. It seemed like from the second half there was definitely a loss of urgency. Considering where you are at the table, how important the win was, what do you attribute that to?
Exactly what I said before. We were too early, too successful, and things became quite easy at the beginning. I mean, we scored a great goal. We looked very good at the beginning. We were being threatening their defenders, and we were able, very close to scoring, more goals. So I think the guys relaxed at a particular time, and that's, it was difficult on us because then they started to find space, and they have a couple of interesting players that did well in finding the space, and then at the end, I agree with you. We're in some way chasing a little bit towards the end, and that's it. So I think it was a situation that the guys relaxed a little bit. We spoke in the halftime. We thought it was going to change in the second half, but we didn't see that changing.
You, after Indy tied the game, the players seemed to lose composure. They were not as composed as before. What are your thoughts on that? The inability to get together and win the game.
Yeah, I think we have to attribute that to the fact that we had a few situations happening in the game. We had Nane and Sena with different situations. We had Roversio also that was struggling a little bit muscle-wise. So we're trying to manage and trying to figure out, who could we put in that moment that wasn't going to be affecting, maybe all the situations that were going to happen after. And I think that paid a toll on us in opening a little bit too much the middle. That's why we put Setela just to hold on, and I felt that when he came in, he controlled a little bit, but we still left too many spaces.
Coach, Marcos said he mentioned that, and Jimmy also said this kind of felt more like a loss than a draw. Do you see it the same way?
100%. And we need to win tonight because we want to come on top in this spring season, and it was important for us to get a win at home. And I think at the beginning we did what we needed, but then the guys just, as I said before, it came a little bit too easy, and they didn't push enough to be able to get the win that we needed today. So it definitely feels like a loss.
Despite the result, or what some would call a disappointing result, the fans, especially those behind the goals, didn't stop singing the whole game. Have you been impressed by the support you've seen for the Cosmos?
Definitely. We're very content with the support because it's not only the stadium, it's everywhere. So we're very content in the amount of people that have, just supported us through the beginning. And today is more a soccer thing than the people outside. Today was more that we should have done something more in the game in order to be able to win.
Coach, the schedule is what it is, but coming off a disappointing result tonight with only 2 weeks left, would you prefer almost that the game against Brooklyn was after the season rather than right here in the middle, 2 weeks ago?
We can hope things that are not, manageable. We have to just manage those things that we have in front of us in regards to using the right players. We knew that it was going to be a tough week, having 3 matches, very important matches for us. It's a moment in which we have to see some players as well. It's going to give opportunity to some other guys that have been waiting the chance to step in the field. So we'll see what kind of players we have, the character of the team, and we'll manage it the way it is. We cannot change the fact that we have 3 games this week.
Yeah.
through all the negative, I mean, what positives do you take away from tonight?
I mean, we scored an unbelievable goal, which was a great play, something that we worked in practice. You know, there's some guys that show that they're growing, like David Diosa. Setela came into the game well, so he's fit to play again. We saw a good Nocelli coming into the game, so I think Dimitrov did well when he came in. So I think there was some positive as well in the team, but we are more than that. We're a team that needs to be stronger, that need to, you know, be a little more savvy in regards to getting, you know, the result that we needed today, because I think we had the chance to have it. But of course, that we can always find some good positive things.
You've constantly throughout the season said that every game is a final to this team, but it's difficult sometimes to get up for a team like Indy 11 that's bottom of the table. Do you think that possibly your team may have underestimated the kind of pressure you'd be under facing Indy 11 at home?
No, because we definitely stressed the fact that this was going to be a difficult game. One thing that we do constantly is that we don't take anything for granted. The players knew the importance of this game, and I think they did come into the game with the right mentality. I think just the game was the one that gave them a different view during the first half, and that's, I think, the part in which they a little bit got too confident, and that's when things start turning a little bit around.
Knowing you have a game in 3 days on Wednesday, is there a different way you prepare, knowing you have a shorter time for preparation?
Oh, we have to give the proper rest now. You know, rest will be, you know, as important as practice, and we have to see now, you know, what the players are feeling. The guys that play tonight, who's feeling okay. I mean, we don't have too much time to rest, but we have other guys that just play a few minutes, others that didn't play. So we have to just balance out the game for this coming game, but we're taking it very serious. We feel that it's going to be the most difficult game that we're going to play in the US Open Cup, in the fact that it's our first game, and we're taking it very, very seriously.
Do you think Marcos is going to be ready for that?
We'll look into, you know, tomorrow just to assess it. But when he came out, he had pain on his groin.
Last two questions. In your experience with the sport in the United States, is it growing in popularity on and off the field? And do you think this World Cup is going to add to that?
Definitely. Soccer is already followed by many people. There's so many, you know, it's a sport now as part of the United States. This has many fans, many kids that are playing. And I think the sport there's no way that anybody can stop it here in the United States. It will become what it's going to be, which is going to be a very strong, like everywhere in the world, and it's already. And the World Cup brings that. And last World Cup, we saw a lot of viewers. This World Cup will be the same.
How much did you miss guys like Johnson and Diaz and them, and also Dennison, especially with the short week here, an extra game this week? How much do you have status on?
We cannot look at the guys that were missing, because then we can bring the argument against Tampa Bay, the same thing. This was the same 11 that started against Tampa Bay, and we did very well. So it's not a matter of who was missing, it's a matter of attitude in just making sure that, you know, that we take advantage of the situations that we have, in that especially that if we have a game that is in a control, that at the end we get the result that we need.
Do you have a status on them and also Dennison as well going forward?
Diomar and Jamal, most likely they're going to start practicing either Monday or Tuesday. We'll see where they are when they start practicing. And Dennison is getting very, very close.
Last question, Dave.
Not to look for any excuses for the games or what have you, but the last couple of games at home, it seems like the field's been playing a lot slower for you. The turf has been affecting the play a lot more. Do you feel the same way? And is there something different about the turf this year that's kind of slowing the ball down a bit?
It's a different ball, first of all. So that might be a little bit the issue. But we said all along, I mean, we wish that this field was grass. And I think any football team, soccer team is going to say the same, especially the team that tries to play with the ball and try to keep possession. It's fundamental for us to have a field that the ball can move. And when it doesn't move, it's not in our advantage, for sure.
Is the void a bit heavier then?
It's different. So I'm not too sure exactly all the facts, but definitely it's a different ball and it moves different than last year.